It started back in the COVID pandemic days where I noticed there was a big shift, and there's a lot of research that backs this up in this idea of this mommy wine culture. And I don't know if people are familiar with that, but basically it frames alcohol as a reward for motherhood or like a coping mechanism. So like these kids are so crazy, wine o'clock, there's wine in my sippy cup, like that kind of thing. And that really escalated during COVID. And there was actually a spike in the amount of alcohol that women were drinking. And in general, women are less likely to seek help for alcohol abuse. And there's more stigma around it, meaning it's more acceptable for a guy to check himself into AA, to go to the ER. Women, there's a lot of shame around that. And so I started noticing online, there was a lot, and specifically within the Jewish community, there was a lot more of that, like sitting down at the end of the day after the kids got off Zoom from, this, that, and with a glass of wine and like, this is my, medicine. And I noticed that that's a problematic thing. So that started shifting my attention to alcohol in the Jewish community, how we talk about it.
You say that's a problematic thing. Why is that problematic? Is there anything wrong? And I guess you're saying that there is. We're not talking about getting drunk, but having a glass of wine at the end of the day to make you feel better as a type of reward for getting through the day. Why is that a problem?
So I'm not talking about a glass of wine at the end of the day. I'm thinking more about the attitude around it, meaning I'm self-medicating. It's cute or funny to have a glass. And so then what happens there, it gets very slippery because then we start failing to recognize where it becomes problematic. And like I said, then women are less likely to seek help. So what was one glass of wine turns into two, turns into three, turns into every single day. And we're not even talking about the health implications of having a glass of wine every day. Again, the Surgeon General came out not too long ago, I think a year ago, with the health implications of drinking, that it's not as beneficial as we thought. It turns into, like I said, a coping culture. A glass to unwind becomes a lifestyle, an identity, an expectation. You don't have to be an alcoholic to have a problem with alcohol. Alcohol is the only drug that we have to justify not